Riddy, and somewhat digital there, and I made some contacts in Europe, and everything. It was really good. Made some contacts into, I think, Brazil, made a few to Hawaii, and that sort of area. Haven't made it to the Northeast quite well. I guess that's probably the way my antenna wires. Yeah, maybe sometime I'll get that done and give that one a try.
Yeah, okay. Do you have a Delta loop right now then, or what, over?
No, I just have that A84 center going to a mooring line, 144 feet, probably 20 feet up in the air.
Okay, you are fading from me, by the way, so I can't tell exactly when you're turning over. You simply stop talking, so I kind of make an assumption there that you have stopped talking, and so it's my turn. So if you'd say over, that would help a great deal also. But your signal is decaying. Okay, on that Delta loop, well, rather than buy one, go ahead and just make one. They're quite easy to make. I've made many of the loop antennas. They work out nicely. It all depends. Like he said, you got some acreage here. That's good. So if you have a means of putting up a loop antenna, it works out good. By the way, I'm running a 75-meter loop antenna here at this moment. It's up at about 35 feet because I put some structures up. Otherwise, it's out there maybe about on the center is easy 150 or so feet away from the house here. So I did that so I could, number one, get it out there in the open field, so no trees to be encroaching on and this kind of stuff. And also want to get away from the house because the house has so many of these little wall works that create so much noise, so that helped a lot there too. But either a loop antenna or if you get QST magazine, in the September issue of QST on page 30, there's an off-center fed antenna of a noticeable departure from the norm. And I put one of those up, and I used a Balin Designs Balin that's got a built-in isolation transformer. I guess you'd call it a Balin. I know it's isolation, I guess, one-to-one isolation, but it's all built into one. Very, very nice unit. So I got maybe about 150 or so feet of RG8 coax that feeds that antenna, and that works out really, really nice. And before that, that's off the west end of the house, and that's feeding my shop radio down there. And with that, with the loop antenna that I used to have up there, I was having a lot of noise because one corner of the loop was right at the house. So this new antenna, the off-center fed antenna in September, QST September on page 30, I think it is, that one's further away from the house and so on. Even on 75 meters, my noise level is S0, which is really, really pleasing. And it does an awfully nice job, and it will tune up from 160 through 10 meters, which is beyond the expected, you might say. But anyway, so that's about the way that goes. KI5ANS, K0JTA, over.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this, but I'll definitely make sure that I end my transmission a little better there. And thanks for the insight on that Delta loop. I definitely want to get that up and running. How many watts are you running? Just curious. K0JTA to KI5.
Okay, I'll look here now. It's showing at just, it's roughly 400 watts. Sometimes go a little bit above it, most of the bowl, but I'll call it about 400 watts here into my 75 meter standard loop antenna. And by the way, the loop antenna was cut for about 3.9 megahertz, so it's basically 240 feet of wire, 240 feet of wire. So, and of course, that's fed with the 450 ohm window line. I got 130, 140 feet of that. That goes to a 4-to-1 current Balin in the garage, and from that Balin, then I got about another 10 feet of RG8 coax that goes to the antenna tuner. So that's about the way that goes, Wes, over.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Definitely wrote some notes down here. I got 240 feet, and then that was 450 on window line with a 4-to-1 balance. So I'll definitely put some notes down, and you were running 400 watts there. Definitely sound real good here in Central Texas with 400 watts.
Okay, real good. Yeah, it does a pretty darn good job all around. By the way, this antenna works very nicely on 75 meters, and actually it works on everything 75 meters through 6 meters. 6 is probably fairly crappy, but I mean on 20 meters and 17 meters, that's the other bands that I do like to operate, as well as 75. But it works really, really nice as far as DX. Last week there was a guy, Vince is his name, he's from South Africa, and he came in here on this gathering, and so it does work as far as getting out for DX also. But yeah, something else I was thinking about and I forget now, but anyway, go there, West K0JTA, over.
K0JTA, this is K5A&M attorney. I gotta run inside here and send you some food here. I'm on a 15-minute timer, so and you got your net coming up here, so I'll let you go. But thanks for the information and thanks for the contact there in Minnesota. Definitely glad to hear everything's going good up there. And hopefully you guys will warm up for the Christmas time. K0JTA, this is K5A&M. I'm gonna say 73 for now. Thank you for the contact, sir.
Okay, real good. Well, nice to meet you, Wes. By the way, I thought of what I was thinking about. The big thing about these balance, don't go after the cheapest one. I've done that a couple, 3 times. Every time I felt really bad about it. Just go to Balin Designs is the name of the company. Balin Designs. He makes nothing but extremely, extremely good stuff. You look him up in the EAM reviews. All of his products are 5 out of 5 stars. And I've gotten many, many of different products. Once you get to Balin Designs, look around for the different, you can select by the type of antenna you're going to be using and things like that. Anyway, that's where you'll find this one that I have found that he makes, and it's very unique. I don't think there's another company out there that makes one, at least that I know of, but it's got a 4-to-1 current Balin plus the 1-to-1 isolation transformer built in. So the isolation transformer keeps RF from coming down the coax back into the shack and getting into your computer and things like that. So Balin Designs. They're not the cheapest, but they're actually contenders for like DX engineering and things like that. But his products are extremely good, extremely good. 73 West K0JTA, over.
K0JTA, this is K5A&S. I copied BalinDesigns.com and get it with a 1-to-1 73. Have a good one, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if you want a 1-to-1 or what. It depends on the antenna now, but in the case of my loop antenna, I got a 4-to-1. In the case of the off-center fed antenna, that's a 4-to-1 with the 1-to-1 Balin built in. Yep, 73 K0JTA. Bye-bye. This is K0JTA. This is the SDR group. If there happens to be anybody on frequency, if you have an interest in software defined radios, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay too. My name is Mike. I'm located near Hampton, Minnesota, which is in the southeastern portion of the state of Minnesota, where it is very, very, very definitely cold and wintry. Anybody would like to check into the software defined radio group, please come ahead now. This is K0JTA. Over.
Uniform Mike. Whiskey Bravo 6, Juliet, Foxtrot Hotel. Good morning, Mike. Go ahead.
Uniform Mike and JFH. Well, good morning. Yeah, you probably heard me blathering there. Maybe having a nice contact with Wes. I was blathering on my part there, by the way. Well, you guys know me well enough, so yeah, you're used to that. Oh well. KS6UM, good day. Interesting method of tuning there with that kettle, and I like the fine resolution that's possible with that handle. So at first I thought it was kind of a poor design, but with that handle, yeah, that makes it really nice. KI6UM, go ahead there, Lou, and good afternoon. David, please stand by. Go ahead, Lou, over.
K0JTA, the software defined radio group, KI6UM. Good afternoon, Mike, and good morning from California. Nice sunny day, a bit cool, but
Yes, that's about my skills there. I probably could build something like that. All right. Well, you sound good here. Good copy in your 5.9. Pretty good copy this morning here, Mike. And that's about it. I'm going to send you an email later on regarding that RS-918. It's nice again, but I just really schematic. I'll send you an email or address this via email because a friend of mine here that builds his own radios is interested in taking a look at it, so we'll go from there. All right, back to you. K0JTA and the Software Defined Radio Group, KI6UM.
Okay, interested on the information. So yeah, I can. You send me what you're looking for, and I guess you're looking for the schematics and this kind of stuff. I do have a direct link for the latest ones as well as the past ones. So yeah, I can easily accommodate that. So very, very good. I didn't look at your signal, but you're just very, very nice and strong here also, as well as David. I think you're stronger out there, at least to me, Lou. But I'm just watching myself on the Northern Utah Web SDR number 2, and I'm developing a good signal there. Looks like it's about maybe 10 dB above S9. And just looking at the waterfall, that's a nice, well filled in display, I guess, basically. So it's kind of interesting to be able to watch that. So, very good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that email, and so yeah, go ahead and send that whenever then, Lou, over.
That was good. I will send you all the information because I looked at your posting there on the reflector, and you have schematics for the 928, and I assume they're probably very similar for the 918. But we'll address that via email. Okay, Mike? And back to you.
Okay, real good. I didn't realize that the 928 information was still there. I was kind of, well, not really divorcing it, but there was not. The 928 is the orphan, you might say. It has got different structure to the point that the firmware cannot be applied. The common firmware that's from the, was it DF8OE or whatever it is. If you look at some of the links there on the reflector, there's a link there as far as how to find the firmware and this kind of stuff. DF8OE comes to mind. At any rate, but that software, or the firmware rather, cannot be used on the 928. I know I've done that, and one time I've done that a couple times. One time it bricked it so bad that I had really an awfully hard time getting that radio back, and I finally did, and I figured, boy, that's it. I'm just not going to mess with these radios anymore. I have done service work on 3 or 4 of the 928 radios, but beyond that, take that as a word of caution. So if your friend is looking to the 928, I would advise not to go after that. There's really, well, aside from the fact it has a built-in clock, there's really no advantage. There are disadvantages because, of course, the firmware that comes with it is pretty much what you got. There's a guy that's, can't think of it now, can't think of his name. You see him on there once in a while. And he and I have kind of, maybe not sparred, but disagreed on certain points and this kind of stuff over the past. But it's being supported to some degree by him. And but he doesn't own one, but he puts out software and has people try. And that's how I got suckered into it, because I was trusting his words. And he says, "Yep, it's going to work fine." Well, it turns out, yeah, it worked fine as far as making it into a brick. And that wasn't pleasing, and like I said, I did that 2 different times, and I figured, well, that's enough. I'm starting to pick up on a pattern here. So anyway, just take that as a word of advice. So the 918, 978, things like that, those are the same PC boards, same firmware, same structure, with the exception of the fact that the battery and the power considerations as far as charging battery are different, obviously. At any rate, real good. Nice area board there, Lou, though. WB6JFH, good afternoon. How did you make out with getting signed into the visible thing? Any further progress on that? If it's going to be an issue, I'll just give up on it. But I mean, to me, it seems like it was in your case with you're paying a lot more than that for your iPhone, and I don't know if you have unlimited on your iPhone or not, and also I don't know with your iPhone if you can tether or not. This one here, of course, there's no limits, and you can tether, which is just, great advantages for you there. WB6JFH, good morning there out there in Washington State, David. This is K0JTA, over.
K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Well, I could just barely hear Lou. I got some comments on it, and also Wes, he was strong for a while, then weak for a while, so I copied about 50% of what he was saying. And so you're about 9 to 5 over right now. Now last transmission, so signals between you and I are pretty good. As for temperature, it's 30 degrees. We got some snow last week, and there's still some on the ground with the driveways, and most of the roads are pretty clear right now. Not expecting any more snow until about Wednesday or thereabouts. And it may not be more than an inch or so. Something like that. We're still not seeing the normal winters we usually see, where by now there'd be several inches on the ground and be a lot of compact snow and ice on the roads and that kind of stuff. So, however, the ski resorts have been getting dumped on. So all the ski resorts up here finally opened up yesterday. I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of people up there today as well. Since it's Sunday. And so, but they usually open up before or during Thanksgiving. So they're behind by a week or so. Something like that. But like I said, they're getting dumped on. 6 inches, 8 inches, 12 inches for the snow and stuff in the mountains. So I'm pretty sure those skiers are happy campers right now. As far as that, this week just fell apart on me. So many things, doctor visits, issues with dialysis. I haven't gotten back to that yet, so it's a work in progress. I'm going to hopefully next week, but I have doctor visits again, so next week, hopefully I can squeeze a little bit of time to go back in and get signed up for the service and stuff. So I appreciate your responding to my email. Just like I said, I got so busy with doctors, issues with dialysis, stuff like that, I haven't gotten after what I normally need to do, like pay the bills, things like that. It just happens. Dialysis does really mess you up. Well, you're on chemo. You know how that went. Your days and weeks up and stuff like that. But it's not that I'm not trying to get to it. It's just finding the time to do it without all the other things getting in the way. But I still plan on signing up for it, so don't worry about that. K0JTA in the group. WB6JFH. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, real good. WB6JFH in the group. This is K0 Juliet Tango Alpha. K0JTA in southeastern Minnesota. So, yep. Well, like you said, things getting away in this kind of stuff, and sorry to hear that last week was just falling apart for you. That that's just the way it goes, I guess, sometimes. But let's see, Lou, David is barely hearing you, and of course he's listening direct. He doesn't have the internet access, so he can't go to the live stream or to the the web SDR number 2. So anyway, so that's the way it goes. I didn't actually look, Lou, to see if you're coming on a web SDR. I noticed that my signal now is quite a bit down, about S5, the way it looks, maybe S5 or so, maybe a little bit above on the web SDR signal strength meter. So I'm looking at the pattern. It's definitely not filled in as much as it had been earlier. At any rate, Lou, I did not look there to see if you were coming into the Northern Utah web SDR site number 2. Most likely you are, but that's just the way it goes. And I just let the live streaming go here with the OBS program, and now it's playing. So I just said, somehow self-resolved whatever the issue was, because it was connecting, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting, on and on like that. I didn't do a darn thing to it. And next time I looked over there, I'll be darned, it's working. So I clicked on the link and I can see the video that's going out and things like that. So it's working now, but I have no idea why. It's funny why it is so unpredictable as far as that goes. And yeah, another thing, I don't know if I mentioned there, David, but as far as that visible thing, there is a Facebook page, but there's also, I think if you go to visible.com, I think something shows up on, well, you have to look for it, but there is a chance to chat, and they don't have an actual phone number that I know of to contact them, so I use a chat thing. And day before yesterday or 2 days ago, I had an issue here. It turns out it was my fault. It was just that I was using the wrong piece of software to do my speed checks, and I thought, oh, everything's, my speed has gone down to 2 meg here, and I went to my other phone, it was down to 2 meg, and went direct through the R2 cell phone, it was still 2 meg, and I figured, oh, something's broken here, so I got online with them on the chat. The chat stuff is very, very good, very chatty, very responsive. It does take time sometimes to get into it. When I initially got on there, I was number 26 on the list, but that quickly decayed because I think people weren't willing to wait. So within 5 minutes, I was number 2, and then right away number 1, and so that worked out just fine. But the chat window on the visible site, that's a very, very productive method of getting. In my case, every time I've called them, I've gotten to a very, very good English-speaking person who has resolved every issue. And matter of fact, my wife is on this too, and she's got the same results. So, it was just that she was just more used to actually speaking with somebody. But in the case of Visible, it's all done through chat as far as I know. WB6JFH was KI61. Sorry, this is K0JTA. Go ahead there, David. Over.
K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Very good, Mike. Yeah, I saw the chat part, and I actually last weekend tried to go there, but they said, like you said, there were so many people there that I was going to be tail internally. And I had other things that were going on, so I couldn't stick around. And so what like I said, the week just got so busy for me that I couldn't stay on any one thing for very long because I had about a dozen other things I had to do at the same time. As I've said before, I'm not a multitasker, and so it's difficult to try and keep up with everything. Plus issues with dialysis and doctor visits and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, last week was not the week to be able to sit down and just do one thing for any length of time. So, that's the way it goes. Other than that, everything else is doing okay. No problems elsewhere. So, antenna's working fine. And, I talked to Vince last Monday also. And surprised that, with my 100 watts I could get to him, but he had a really strong signal up here. So, hope he shows up back again and stuff like that. So, that's all we have at the moment, Mike. K0JTA in the group. Oh, and say hello to Lou for me. WB6JFH, go ahead.
Keto, real good. I was watching on the WebSTR. I don't see you there, so Lou most likely doesn't have any chance to be able to hear you unless Lou is watching on the what do you call it here, the OBS, the video streaming situation. So let's see. I'm gonna pass it back to Lou there. David says hello, by the way, but Lou, I just want to see if I can see your signal on the WebSTR. And I wonder if you're perhaps watching on the OBS video feed that you see on the link of my, if you go to my QRZ page, the topmost link in red, that'll take you to it. And then click on the item in the upper left-hand corner that says live now, and that'll take you to the video feed. But Lou, are you perhaps watching that? And once again, David didn't have much else to offer, so there's not much going on. He's busy with his doctors and with dialysis there. So it's kind of commanding his time to do a lot of other things. So it's just the way it goes. Dallas is especially the real rough one. By the way, I was going to mention, David, I have not been in Dallas here for the last almost 2 weeks, well, a week and a half, I guess, basically when I got off. It was a week ago Thursday. But Monday I'll be going back in for another session, and so I'm going to go back in the tubes again or whatever like that. But I'm going to go downhill for the next few days as a result of going back to the chemotherapy, which has been the case. So at any rate, I'm feeling good now, but tomorrow, check back in. I ain't going to be feeling so good. Just the way it goes. K0JTA, just want to see if I can see your signal there on the web SDR. Once again, I'm seeing my signal there, and it's reporting about S7 right now, the way it looks. K0JTA, K0JTA, over.
K0JTA is a software-defined radio group, KI6UM. Very good, Mike. Yeah, actually, I'm listening to you on over the air. You're fine. You're 5'9", but also I'm listening to you. Excuse me, WebSDR on Utah. You're coming in pretty good there too. So I've got copy on both. And sorry to hear about your situation there. You're feeling good now, but tomorrow may not be so good. Well, yeah, I don't know. What are you going to do? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, put a little bit of vodka on it, and celebrate with your friends. How about that? Okay, very good. I don't have too much to add. I will send you an email. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if you can guide me to what I can find the schematics for the RS918. But I'll send you all this information, and we'll deal with this via email. It's easier that way. And there's no hurry on this. All right, I'll pass it back to you, and you probably want to get going there. You've got things to do there as well. So this will be my final transmission, but I'll be listening. And by the way, I'll shut down the WebSDR in Utah, and I'll go to your page and see if I can hear you there. So I'll do that. K0JTA in the software-defined radio group, KI6UM.
Okay, real good. And I'll be kind of curious to see how that all works out. I'm showing on the WebSDR that I do have audio. Sometimes I've had things set up incorrectly, to the point that the video was there, but there was no audio. And but I'm showing the just picking up here with a USB camera, but it is showing that there's audio that's being presented to it. So, and okay, in the getting the email as far as the schematics for RS918, there are various models, this kind of stuff, and for the most part, the RS918 Plus that I sell, that's kind of like a expanded version of what the MCHF is, because it's been kind of doctored and modified and parts substituted, and various parts that are appearing in that don't appear in the other one, and various things like that. So, at any rate, real good. Yeah, I'll look forward to your email, and you can expand on exactly what you're looking for, but I think I got a pretty good idea. So, by the way, looking at the WebSDR, Lou, I could see your signal just a little bit there, but pretty darn little. I'm just having to look back up here, and it was, I'm not sure how big of a signal was, but at one point it was showing, probably 10 to 15 dB over S9. So that's pretty darn good. I'm not watching my own signal there, but just watching the waterfall, it's just very, very, very densely filled in. So, anyway, with watching your signal on the WebSDR, though, I could see a little something there, very, very, very weak. I don't have audio feed from my web browser, so I can't get any report on that. But, and again, from David, I see nothing at all there, so. All right, 7-3 then, nice to have you aboard, Lou, and I'll pass it back to you then, David. If you got something more, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. I do have a project that I do need to get finished up there this afternoon, and actually there's 3 projects down there, but I got to get at least one of them done because I got to get this radio shipped back. And by the way, Lou, this is an actual MCHF that I'm working on. Actually, I was completed with, and got that all taken care of and this kind of stuff, but I still have to get the calibration done and this kind of stuff. But so I got most of it all put together, and it's been playing nicely. pretty much continuously for about, at least 36 hours. So it's been doing good. And he had an issue with the receiver. He lost his receiver. It was pretty much deaf, kind of like yours, but it was a whole different area. So once again, it was a whole different learning process for me, which is challenging, but in a way kind of fun, but in a way kind of frustrating. But I'm glad to say that I won, and so I'm glad it's over. All right, 7-3 then, Lou. WB6GFH, I'll pass it back to you then, and hopefully that you can get through this dialysis here and continue to get through it or whatever like that. I was thinking as far as that chat window, you've seen that, that's good, so at least you know about it. And like I said, that's a good method of contacting them. And don't be scared off by the numbers, just, go ahead and, devote some time to it. Because like I say, day before yesterday, or whenever it was, 2 days ago, I got on there and I was number 26 in line. Well, within 2 or 3 minutes, it was down to number 6 on line. And that was number 2, and it was number 1. So I'm sure that I did not wait 5 minutes before I was actually accommodated. And spoke to a lady called Maria, and she was extremely articulate and good typist and this kind of stuff, so it was really very, very good. At any rate, my suggestion is that go ahead and experiment with this and just chat with them as far as the difficulties of getting signed in and this kind of stuff, but do that when you're in dialysis, because I'm sure that in your case you've got some time to burn there, and like tomorrow now when I go into chemotherapy, I'm going to have 4 to 5 hours just to be sitting there, so I always bring in a tablet along and hook up to the local facilities Wi-Fi, and that helps to pass the time. So, in your dialysis situation, sure, that would be the time to do it. Now, in your dialysis, maybe you're feeling just really too crappy to be able to do it, so maybe that does not fit. I don't know, I'm just making an assumption, David. WB6GFH, I'll actually give it just another standby just for the heck of it here. This is K0JTA. This is the software-defined radio group. SDR for software-defined radios. If you have an interest, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. If you'd like to check in, please come ahead now. This is K0JTA standing by. Over. Nothing heard. Go ahead there, David. Over.
K0JTA in the group. WB6JFH. Oh, very good, Mike. Yeah, it was, my issue was time constraints last week and stuff like that. So, yes, I'm hoping that either tomorrow or Wednesday I will be able to, because I'm pretty clear, to sit down and just go ahead and try and get everything working and get signed up for the service, order the phone, and go from there. So, and you know how it is with schedules, the doctors, and things, stuff like that. So the plan is to go ahead with this. I don't think my other friends are going to ever respond back to me. They're still getting involved with Arden and getting the network set up to do the demo, which I think they said they're probably going to be able to do it next week, weather permitting. They have the link from the jail out to Lake Concrete. It's up and running, except they had a failure with one of the links and had to reboot that particular link, something like that. So I think they're ready now. And all they're going to get is they had the DEM to find the time in their schedule to go to the demo and see what ours can really do, stuff like that. And then, like I said, if they are really happy with this, then they might be able to give us some extra funds to fill out the rest of the system for the whole Spokane area and stuff like that, and go from there. So we'll see. I was at this is what I heard in the minutes from our last meeting, or read, I should say, is that honestly next week they'll do the demo, push the Christmas trees out because of all the holiday festivities and things like that. So if they can't do it this week, then they won't be able to get back to us until probably next month. And so we'll see how that goes as well. So anyway, he's real busy with that, and also with his day job and stuff. stuff like that. And hopefully get it all lined up. Hopefully next week. More than phone to get here so I can, do all the legwork to get stuff done. So we can all get the price discount and stuff. So it's all in the plan. We'll see how that goes. And other than that, just waiting for Christmas, stuff like that. So I get some Christmas card letters, so I'll start responding back to that as well, and all the day-to-day stuff. So we'll go from there. And because of being so busy with all the stuff, I didn't get much radio time either. So nothing to report there. Didn't even get on the time yet, so. And that's kind of rare. I used to usually be able to get on at least once a week, stuff like that. Anyway, that's how it goes. K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Go ahead.
Well, good. WB6. Pardon me. WB6GFH. This is K0JTA. Yep. That sounds real good on everything there. And as far as the time constraints being the main factor for not being able to line up with Visible, I can see that. Sometimes things just keep getting in the way. And it's just, I completed a project here yesterday, which involved just swapping out a drive in one of my computers, and that failed, but there's some, I'm not sure what, if I pitched a wire or what, but basically the fan is running at full speed and I don't have any video and this kind of stuff, so something that I did, because before this it was functional, but the hard drive was bad, so, oh well, that's just the way it goes. So, but I do understand the time constraints, and this is something here that I've been, it's been hanging fire for a long time. I think I bought this replacement, so let's say drive back in April, for example, but it's kind of a big project, getting it done, this kind of stuff, so it was always that, just getting it going. Well, anyway, yesterday I did get at the project, made that much progress, got the thing installed, but again, something is wrong, so I had maybe pulled the wire loose that I shouldn't have, and things like that, so, oh well, what are you going to do? And as far as that local mesh group progressing, well, that's good, I guess, but the bad part is that, like you said, it's going to be a lost cause for you, quite possibly. Yeah, I know that it's, I can easily pick up on that pattern because this has been hanging fire here for a long time. And so it just, it's not going to be a workable kind of thing. So the experiment with Visible would be worthwhile, and of course if it works out, fine. If it doesn't, well, it's not a lot of money invested. And so if it does work out well, then you can, go ahead and get rid of your iPhone contract and this kind of stuff, and at worst case, just use the R2 as your cell phone, and it's going to be a very workable, dependable little doodad. I know I haven't had any troubles at all with mine. It's been on here 24/7 for the last, 2.5 months or so. And I just leave it on a charger. But the only problems I've had with it are the problems that I generate myself. If I get in there and start messing with things and screwing things up, well then, yeah, I got some recovery to do. But it's not their fault, it's mine. So, that's okay. I'm kind of used to it. I'm used to shooting myself in the foot, so it's just one of those things. So, the Christmas preparations, things like that, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. And I do have that same kind of thing. I do like to check into the 75 meter noon and evening. That's your 3860 is the frequency here for ours at noon and 5 p.m. here. So, yeah, at any rate, yeah, I don't have a heck of a lot else then, and good luck on getting the Visible contract going and get the phone in. And then once you get the phone delivered to you, then take that along and as that is your shiny thing to play with there when you're at dialysis. By the way, when you're in dialysis now, is that pretty well taking you out of the picture too, or do you have time to just sit and wait as you are being processed or whatever like that? I'm not sure what the dialysis involves physically, but in the case of my chemotherapy, basically just a lot of time just to sit there and look out the window. So having the tablet there is a great thing for me. WB6JFH, this is K0JTA. Over.
K0JTA in the group. WB6JFH. Yeah, that's the plan, is to operate the radios from my clinic using my tablet. Since I can't use the MFJ RSS stuff, even though all I did was buy the card. But because of the port forwarding stuff and hotspots and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to be using AnyDesk or TeamViewer. And I did download AnyDesk on the computer. But apparently it didn't complete the installation, so I'm going to hook the computer back up to the hotspot so I can get the rest of the program and get that set up as well. And then download it on the tablet. And so that's still in the works as well. Get those software packages loaded in so I can make this work and stuff. And so, I got a piece of paper right here on the desk with my plan of attack and all the things I need to do to get this to work. To get the phone is obviously number one. And then get the plan going, which is number two. And then work on all the other stuff. To, get the software on the tablet and the computer here. And to set that all up and then set up for working at the clinic. And the problem with the clinic is the chairs are so close together. If I make a lot of noise, I'm going to disturb the people next to me. So I might have to buy one of those computer headsets. So I don't bother the other people with. I'm sure most people are not going to get excited about hearing all the noise that we hear on HL. All the noise and stuff like that. And I'm the only ham operator that I know of at the clinic, so they wouldn't appreciate hearing noise and stuff. So there's probably a purchase or two with that, and that's actually a request from Santa Claus, and we'll see if the request is honored, a week from this Wednesday, and go from there. So anyway, so there might be a little additional hardware needed, but probably that'll be minimal cost, and we'll go from there. So that's the plan. Since I can't use the RSS 1234 stuff, which would allow me to use my iPhone as the go-between there, which has the Bluetooth, and that would have worked great. It would all be contained within my little space and stuff. But because of this port forwarding mumbo-jumbo, it's not doable, so I took the card out of the Raspberry Pi controller, the Patsy Lab one, put the SDR program back in. So I can control either this radio or they still have the non-10. A lot of times they'll set that up on the desk and just monitor with that, because it's still a really good radio. And, it doesn't have quite the features that 7000 does, but the feature limited is the features between the two is not that great. The differences. The only thing I can't run thesis on the 10 because of the FPGA doesn't have enough memory to run the new protocol. You see that a lot with people checking into the Yahoo user group and trying to get the 10 to work with pieces. Having all kinds of difficulties getting that to work. The big thing is it doesn't have the fourth generation FPGA and it has the third generation in it. And so it just doesn't have enough wiggle room to load the new firmware in and make it work. And I think the firmware guys have tried to trim down the firmware to get it to fit in the 10 and the 100 and stuff, but apparently you take someone down that you can't, doesn't really work very well in the first place. started with the original firmware, which last I've ever heard was 3.2 for the non-10. And Power SDR is still the software for that. Or the Raspberry Pi software. And John is still working on that. He's supposed to been working on getting pure signal work on the controller. Plus a couple other things. And so I'm anxious to get back to that one of these days and download the new software version and see if pure signal works for the 10 and the controller as well. Now we're doing a whole other complete station. And with the Wi-Fi capability of the Raspberry Pi in there, I could run that up and possibly run, I heard the other day, what is it called, Heat or something like that. It runs on Linux machines. It's the same as any Heat viewer, it's just a Linux. What is it called, Heat or something like that. It runs on Linux machines. So, possibilities open up once they get the service, all the possibilities are open up. So, that's in the plan. One system works for in practice. Get totally confused and shoot myself in the foot many times. Since I only have one foot, that's going to be pretty difficult. I think it's probably going to hurt a lot. So, anyway, well, take one step at a time. That's all we have right now. So, turn it back to you. K0JTA in Northwest to do. WB6J. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got a nice cozy little group here, so that's just fine. Because it's kind of nice to be able to just listen to incoming call here. It's a robocall, I'm sure, but it's Cut Pharmacy. It's a local grocery store, so it's actually a valid call. I'll really take care of that upstairs. You're mentioning that the SDR program put back into your Raspberry Pi. What is this program? Over.
It's a program that John Molson wrote for the mind controller, the one you were using, where you had the kind of control. You built your own mind controller to control the SDR radio. And right now I have version 1.2.3, and sometime in the summer, late summer, late fall, I'll be back to working on the software for the controller. And one of the jobs is to try and get pure signal to work. He's also working on a Linux version of the software that you and I are using that will cover both the Protocol 1 firmware and Protocol 2 firmware. It probably won't be as fully functional as the, but it will cover both the Linux version while there's some set of the Windows rules. And so got both of the process going. Obviously, he's a really good programmer for Linux. Stuff like that. So, the interest is love Windows at all. Hate Windows 10 because of all the updates and all the presets it does and stuff like that. So, we'll see what he comes up with. Looks like the timeline is maybe next summer sometime he might be able to roll out a beta version of the Linux part. And he has said that hopefully he has the pure signal part of the Pi controller running by now, Christmas time. But again, the time constraints that we haven't been able to download the new software and install it on the controller and see what happens. So, you know, I think I said this before, but I thought when I retired, the days would be all mine. I could do whatever I want, but it certainly hasn't turned out that way. So didn't turn out that way for my parents either. They retired. They got busier than I did when they were working. So, I don't know. Maybe retirement's just a joke. It's a term only, but the actual implementation is not there. So, the RS radios and that kind of stuff, so probably getting pretty busy too. K0JTA. Yeah, that's what. WB6JFH.
Okay, real good. WB6JFH, this is K0JTA. Yep, well put there as far as that retirement almost being a joke because, yeah, well, the good part is I guess we are busy, so that's a good thing. I know that I have people that I know who did retire and they really don't have anything to do. They don't have any interest, no hobbies, things like that, so that's the way it goes. And yeah, as far as the rig pie, just touching on a few of my notes here, the rig pie does read the port forwarding and this kind of stuff, but of course you could use Anydesk to get to it, and that works out really well. So the method or the missing thing is going to be very similar to what you were using or considering with the software to get into your Apache Labs Anon radio. And then what you could do once you get that software, the audio in and out, then hook that to the Skype program, and just to run the two programs. But that's a very great way to. I've done that over the years many times, and it works out quite reliably. So there's probably some other methods that you could do to not have to run Skype. I have not actually invested in much time in looking at those, but that's okay. Anyway, my point as far as you got the time there in dialysis and this kind of stuff, well, get the phone and then you can play with the phone while you're in that dialysis just to get to know it. There's a very complete online, what do you call it, operator manual for it. I don't know what it is, like, I'm going to guess 130 or 140 pages, something like that comes to mind. But it's a very complete manual for the phone. So if you're looking for that, let me know and I'll send you the link to it. Anyway, so the point is, I was suggesting that you would, get the phone, and then as you're getting used to it, you could do that when you're in dialysis and this kind of stuff and things like that. And as far as your choice chairs being close to the noise is a factor, yeah, that's going to be a consideration without a doubt. So yeah, using a headset to listen, things like that, or just put your tablet up close to your ear. It's kind of clumsy, so yeah. In my case, I did run a little earbud set that actually came with the one of my wife's iPhones, and that worked out just fine. I just plugged into the earphone jack of my little 10-inch tablet, and with that I could receive audio and transmit audio, which is kind of surprising. So it worked out just fine. Once again, in that case, I was using Skype, so it's easy enough to do. So, and okay, and that program you're talking about there, John Melton, I can't think what that's called now. It actually is on my website, I know that, because I built 2 of those units up myself. So, kind of interesting. But, yeah, I know about it, to make a long story short. So, that's about it. I have out of my notes and this kind of stuff. But anyways, I think the big key is to be able to get your R2 ordered. That shouldn't take too long. You can do that at any time, day or night. Do that online, and get yourself an account set up with the Visible folks. Once you do that, and once your phone is activated, then you can go ahead and join my party situation, and then your price will drop down to $25. So at any rate, but for the start, it'll be at $40 a month, of course. But even at that, it's going to be quite reasonable compared to what you're having to pay right now for your iPhone. So, yeah, at any rate, I'm just fresh on things to say here. I don't even know what time it is here. I look at my computer, 1318 Zulu local time here. So, at any rate, WB6JFH, K0JTA, over.
K0JTA, WB6JFH. Very good, Mike. Yeah, you already sent me the link for the PDF file. And I haven't downloaded yet, but that's a good it's not downloaded on the tablet, take the tablet with me next week. I can at least read through the information while I'm sitting there at the clinic. Reading isn't going to bother anybody. So that's not an issue. There's a lot of people that read e-books and stuff like that with their iPads, their pads, tablets, things like that. So, and I even have a live reader given to me for my birthday several years ago, and I really have never used it. So, yeah, it's just sitting there. Probably the battery's dead by now, but I've never used it. So, yeah, that's a good idea. I will, if nothing else, I'll download the PDF file and onto the tablet, take the tablet with me next week and start reading through it, because that's something I can do at the clinic without disturbing anybody. And then go from there and try and, like I said, order the phone. And last week when I set up the phone, at least I got that part in the bag, as they say it. The UI was only $90 for the phone if you buy the plan. You'll sign up for the plan. So that would be a little easier on the pocketbook as well. So anyway, those are all in the works. Like I said, it's work in progress, or as they usually call it, WIP, W-I-P, work in progress. And so it's in the process. It's just getting away from all this other stuff that, you know, it's the things I have to do versus the things I want to do. And so get away from all that so I can start doing this other stuff. And the time, it's only the time to feel like doing, like waiting for the chat, you know, that way. And the other thing I haven't done yet is I was going to post a question on the Manipulab user group about this net frame stuff. You know, why I get the message when I try to upgrade to feature 2.6.8